HD Nation! Hey, I got another Minisode Monday and a new letter from Snail Mail. Now, if you remember, we said that our Fan Mail Friday is now being merged in with Mondays. So even though it's not Friday, and this is not a Stump the Creator or a challenge, these are Minisode. These are, sorry, I missed it, the Fan Mail Mondays as well. So here it says, and this is from Bill J. We'll give his name. It says this: Dear Zach, about a week and a half ago, I received the World War II deck, and I love it. I think it was a great idea to replace Estonia and Ukraine with Billy McMillan, my new favorite musician, and the British SAS, my new favorite army. As much as I love this deck, I do have a few notes. Billy McMillan's date says 1840 to 1893. Now that doesn't make sense because World War II was over by then, or it hadn't even started by then. It should say 1922 to 2010. Okay, so good note, thank you. I'll make sure that that's changed. Actually, before we go on, I want to be able to see if it is changed in the 2.0 or if that was still, if that's what he's talking about. So we're going to musicians and Billy McMillan. It still says it. I guess truthfully it was the first time because we replaced those cards. So Bill, thank you so much for telling me that. We will have that changed right away. Dwight D. Eisenhower's ability says interrupt. For one entire round, no player may attack, and yet he is listed as constant, C, and infinite. Yeah, I've had this one brought to my attention. This is one that was a mistake. Now, if you guys remember, before I sent these out, before I sent them out to be printed, I sent it out to everyone that had already pre-ordered and anybody that wanted to help us proof. And we gave them the whole proof sheet. It means every single card. And yes, there are a lot of cards. But with all the people that looked through it, still there were things that were missed. And I guess that's always going to be a constant. Constant, no pun intended. But this is actually a thing that we are working on perfecting. This is why there's no 3.0 decks. There will never be a 3.0 deck. We might add a foil or something else, but it won't be a 3.0. It will still be the 2.0. We're done changing it. We want you to be able to have the perfect card. And so with this, every time we find any kind of questions, much like Bill had put in here, we will make those changes and that card will be perfect from what we found. But if you find any questions, any questionable parts or pieces in the cards, please email us. We're actually correcting them as soon as possible each time we find out before we do another print so that we can have them fixed. So the last question is this. I have one last question. I would like some clarification on the part of General George S. Patton's ability that says, due to your strategic genius, Patton outmaneuvers any Axis country. Bomb. The reason why I do that is because it stops right there. The rest of the abilities did not funnel through. Oh, wait. No, it does. Actually, awesome. So let me, I think I now understand what he's asking. Oh, sorry, this is not Bill. This is Dayne. Dayne, thank you. You always help us out. Actually, you email us. So thank you for writing us a snail mail letter. And he's got a quote at the end that's by Bill T. Jones. So I'll read that afterwards. But so to answer your question when it comes to General George Patton, it says, due to his strategic genius, Patton outmaneuvers any Axis countries. Now that first sentence was basically to set up whatever the rest of the ability was. It's not an actual ability, because a lot of them say due to national pride, yada yada yada. This one says due to your strategic genius, Patton does this, and then it finishes up the ability. It says an opponent of your choice loses one turn. That's the most important part. So it's not anything else but that. It says So yes, Dayne, that is the question. Here it says, this game has had, sorry, this game has had such an impact on my life. Before I started playing Historical Conquest, if you asked me who Major Robert Allen was, a Union major who commanded Fort Sumter before it was taken by Confederates, I probably would have said Major who? Who? Now, it's like I always tell my friends, this game, Historical Conquest, helps you learn history without you even realizing it. I know this is a long letter, but I have one last thing to ask of you. What is your favorite card in Historical Conquest? And he puts in there, besides your own. Okay. So, the favorite card. I know I've mentioned a lot of different favorite cards because there's a lot of them in there. Illustration-wise, I would have to say Blackbeard. Or Tesla. Tesla's my man. He became my man when we first started this. That was the first or second illustration that our best illustrator, Tanis, had created. And ever since then, it's been amazing. All his work has been amazing. But when it comes to favorite and the abilities, I don't know. It's a good question. Again, I should have read this again. It's actually been, I had this, it's been on my desk, and I had to answer it for a little while, but I have not yet, or not until now. So, the best one, and because I'm on the spot, I can't recall right now. I know there's a ton of them that I love. I mean, anything with morale. Okay, best combo. An event that happened while playing Historical Conquest is when somebody played the atomic bomb. No, it wasn't atomic bomb, it was Chernobyl. And I think I had no more lands. I was all out of lands. So I actually played it back on them. I did a reverse. And they did a reverse on me. And then I did my last reverse back on them. And both of us had one land each at that point. And so, because they did it to me, even though they should have won, if it wasn't for the interrupt, they were knocked out of the game and they were taken out. Actually, that's not my favorite. Atomic bomb was used. This is the one I remember. The atomic bomb was used. There was 4 of us playing. So the atomic bomb was used on me, wiped out one of my lands. There's no reverse for our technology that I can think of. Then all of a sudden, it was the neighbor's turn, the next person's turn. They had someone that could help or could copy, or something that could copy a technology. So they used the atomic bomb because it was still active, because my land was uninhabitable for 3 turns. That card is still active for 3 turns. So the next person plays a card to copy that and nukes the original guy that had laid it down. Then it became my turn, and I had a Tesla, so I doubled the ability of a technology card. And I played it on him, and I played it on the last person. So then that person became their turn, and they played it back on me because I had just hit them with the atomic bomb. So let's see, out of that whole thing, I lost 2 lands due to the atomic bomb. My neighbor lost 1. The guy that originally put it on me had lost 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the original guy had lost 2 because of the guy next to me, the second player, and myself. And actually, I think that guy was the only guy that had not lost anything, because we didn't attack him. He attacked the guy that helped me, or that hurt me, so I didn't attack him. And the next guy, I played it on the next guy, so he played it back on me. So it was the funniest little discussion that we started up, where we talked about the nuclear bomb, and what, ever since the nuclear bomb was set off, or even ever since it was being developed, all these other nations have tried to develop their own nuclear bomb. And because everyone started trying to develop their own nuclear bomb, they've been having the threat of shooting off a nuke at all these different locations, all these different countries. And of course, because they did that, everyone's nervous that a nuke's going to go off, a nuclear bomb. The atomic bomb is going off, a hydrogen bomb. Any one of these bombs are going to be set off in a country, and wipe out a large population of people. Well, because of that discussion, I had a lot of young men thinking about, well, maybe it's not the right thing to set off this bomb in actual life, because as soon as we learn the technology, somebody's going to steal it, and then another person's going to steal it, and then all of a sudden a lot of people have them, and they're all setting nukes off everywhere. And just like our game became almost a standstill because one of us, might have been me, I might have had 3 lands, but I think the guy had originally set off the atomic bomb. He only had 2 lands, so he was wiped out. All of his lands were uninhabitable. Lucky enough for him, 3 turns, so his turn, that turn, oh no, so it was, yeah, anyways. So it was a whole big fiasco of, because one person let off a nuclear bomb, and then all of a sudden everyone else started stealing it from him. So, little life lesson there. Don't set off a nuclear bomb, because somebody else is going to steal your technology and use it back on you. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Anyways, thanks for joining me on this Minisode Monday. Thank you, Dayne, for sending me a snail mail letter. I love these. I love when they're actually, I can hold them. I can read them. These are good too. Emails are great. But there's something different about snail mail because nobody really uses it. So I can get a handwritten letter. Oh, awesome stuff. Thanks again for joining me on this Minisode Monday. It wasn't much Minisode because I couldn't stop talking. But I appreciate you guys hanging in. And I hope you got something out of this. And when it comes to setting off a nuclear bomb, don't do it. Don't do it. If you have any comments or questions, add them to the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow, actually. Take care. Bye.